When will the Fed cut rates? Let's talk about Warren Buffett and 6 investing principles he lives by. Let's talk about the period of 1978 to 1982. And finally, let's talk about some shocking housing affordability statistics. You know what? Let's get into Warren Buffett first. We talked about Warren Buffett the other day. He has bought some home builders, Lennar and others. But there's actually kind of 6 investing principles that I believe Warren Buffett kind of lives by. A lot of these came from his autobiography, Snowball. And these are my takeaways from that book I read, years ago. First, Warren Buffett talks about never living on one income. If you are simply a wage earner, it is easy for someone else to take that away from you. So again, watch for that. Number 2, focus on investments that produce positive cash flow, dividends, things of that nature, businesses. Again, Warren Buffett is about investing money so that that money grows and compounds. Something else that I don't think Warren Buffett gets a lot of credit for is telling folks to invest in themselves, right? Continually read, learn, become a practitioner of your craft, whatever that happens to be. I talk about becoming elite, basically being the second step of getting wealthy. Number 4 from Warren Buffett is really learn as much as you can. Be a continuous practitioner in your area. Read, read, read. So not only invest in yourself and look to expand, but also look for the opportunities to continually consume information. Number 5, dry powder is the seed for future investments. One of the things that is kind of subtle in the book, Warren Buffett talks about one of his very early mindsets about money. And that is he didn't look at $100 as $100. He looked at it as potentially $1,000. Because again, he looked at the $100 as something that would grow into something more significant. And then finally, of course, he is very well known for being a frugal billionaire. Again, it's often reported he lives in the same house, he has cheap cars, he eats at McDonald's, all of those things. But again, living below your means. You have to have disposable income, what I sometimes call dry powder, so that you can invest and grow that stack of money. So again, I think that is pretty interesting. Let's talk about when will the Fed cut rates? This is going to become a consistent talk track in the media. Goldman Sachs has come out recently and said that they expect the Fed to start cutting rates in Q2 of 2024. That feels really close. I would suspect that the Fed will be on hold for the entire year of 2024. But again, there may be cracks forming that Goldman sees. But again, I think betting on when the Fed's going to cut is a mistake. I think they've proven to us that they are pretty consistent in their talk track. And, again, they're saying higher for longer. So if you're buying real estate or any kind of investment, don't make assumptions about rate cuts. This whole date the rate idea could be very dangerous. Be careful. Let's talk about some housing affordability, right? Housing affordability is really low. It is restricting demand. It's also hurting supply, right? The move-up buyer can't upgrade, can't move. They're locked in place. Lance Lambert, right? Because if you're not following Lance on Twitter or reading his Fortune articles, you are truly missing out. He put out a tweet the other day that shocked me. And I look at housing stats all the time. He said, in order for housing affordability to return to pre-pandemic levels, one of 3 things needs to happen. 1, incomes, wages, need to go up 69%. Wow, 69%. 2, rates. Now these are individually, right? This is not a collection. This is, hey, just this variable change. Again, income up 69%. In order for housing affordability to return to 2019 levels, we could have an interest rate drop to 2.96. And of course, the final one, the one that the crash bros have been telling us about for 5 years, 10 years, prices will need to crash 41%. So again, in order for us to get back to 2019 affordability levels, prices could crash 41%, rates could drop to 2.96, or incomes will go up 69%. Of course, the answer to housing affordability is kind of all three, right? What is going on with price? What is going on with rates and income? But that was pretty interesting to see. Another thing I want to remind you about, a lot of folks are just in the camp that prices have to crash suddenly. I don't know if you really understand what happened last time. So in the Great Recession, a recession that was entirely, or at least mainly, housing related. Peak to trough, again, these are national numbers. Peak to trough, prices fell 27%. Now again, in my market of Fresno, California, prices were down 65, 68%, with some properties going down over 70%. So again, your area may be different, but if we're going to talk national, the price drop was 27%. But here's the thing that most people miss. The drop was from 2007 to 2012. 2007 to 2012. Now, some of you have already noticed that my backlighting on my new thing is green, not purple. It was supposed to be purple. Unfortunately, the purple lights are not working. So yes, I spent the whole time outlining this thing and the purple lights don't work. Very frustrating. So I will make a call to rip it off and start over with a new strand or whatnot, but I was too exhausted last night to do that. So we shall see. So thank you for being an observant community. Let's talk about some shocking stats from 1978 to 1982. As you know, I've talked about 1978 to 1982 a couple of times because it was the example of housing transactions crashing 50%. That is what led me to believe a year and a half ago, that we would have a transaction crash, not a price crash, which proved correct. But I wanted to go back and look at 1978 to 1982 for other factors. And again, folks, I want to remind you, this spreadsheet is 100% free. You can go to my website, onerentalatatime.com, and you can get this spreadsheet. So I looked at this spreadsheet. You can go get it, look at it yourself. It goes from 1970 to some factors in 1923. So what happened to rates, interest rates, from 1978 to 1982? They started that term at 9.64. and they went to 16.04. They went up 700 basis points, almost 700 basis points. I guess 640 basis points. What happened to price? This is some stuff we need to talk about, right? Nominal versus real. Nominal versus real. So again, nominal prices went up 36%. The average was 7.3% a year. Think about that. 7% a year was the average. It went up 36% over that term. However, on real basis, it went up negative. Prices went down in real terms, 12.25%, for an average real adjusted home appreciation of -2%. So you got to remember, folks, a lot of housing data is reported in real terms, not nominal terms. Or I'm sorry, reverse that. Most housing stats are reported in nominal terms, not real. But when you go back to 1978 to 1982, it behooves you to understand the difference between nominal and real, and all the data is in the spreadsheet. How about transactions? Again, transactions were down 50%, both for new construction and existing home sales. How about unemployment? I didn't know this, so I looked it up. Unemployment averaged averaged 7.29% from 1978 to 1982, roughly double what we are today. CPI, this really shocked me. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was this bad for 5 years. CPI averaged 9.78%. 9.78%. How about the stock market? We talked about real estate, real versus nominal. How about the stock market? On a nominal basis, the stock market was up 7.8%. That's all. I'd call that a flat market. It averaged up 1.56%. Folks, you should have your money in treasuries from 1978 to 1982. How about on a real adjusted return? It was down 41%. The stock market was down 41% in real terms for an average negative 8%. How about the all-important wage growth? This will be the final stat. Again, folks, go get the spreadsheet. It's there for you. Wage growth was down, or up 39.7% nominal. In real terms, negative 9%. Folks, we need to understand the difference between real and nominal. It impacts everything. Don't get confused when people are reporting different stats. We always have to ask ourselves real versus nominal. How about some mortgage demand? A lot of us would expect mortgage demand to be down, and you would be correct. It's down 26% year on year. But I bet you didn't know this, because I didn't know this. Mortgage demand for new home construction, or new homes, up 35.5%. Now, of course, I knew it would be up. I'm actually sitting in one of those properties. But again, yes, home purchase loans or mortgage demand is up 35.5%. Home builder sentiment went down 25%. We got a question from Bitcoin Man that I'll answer here. Do I expect transactions to go down? The answer is yes. I think I called earlier in August. We're gonna break the floor. Right now, the bottom in existing home sales is 4.02 million. We are going to break that in August. That will not be reported until September. But yes, I expect transactions to go down potentially 5, 8, 10%. It will not be another 50% drop from here, but it will be a drop from here, is my opinion. And then the last thing to talk about is Neel Kashkari is talking about the banks needing significantly further capital regulation. Folks, when you hear that, you should think cost, expense. If they're going to put on and layer on more expenses, that is going to hurt the income statement of banks. And as we talked yesterday with Taylor from Life Goal Investments, banking today, no bueno. Their safe assets turned out to be not safe. Their collateral is down. Their interest expense is up. It's just not a good time to be in banking, and we will see probably a lot of shotgun marriages over the next year or two as the banking industry consolidates to survive. So folks, at the end of the day, one other thing I'm going to do, Capital One, the credit card that I use, I'm going to see if this works. Capital One sent me a link. If you are looking for a new credit card, I will put a link in the description. If you use it and get a card, I get something, you get something. We'll see what happens. By no means, you obviously don't have to do this. I just thought it was fun and interesting. So I'm going to take my credit card link and put it in the notes below. And if you're looking for another credit card, the one that I use every day is Capital One. I like the cash back that I get when I purchase stuff. So again, I don't know. I just thought I would put it there. It was a lot of fun. So folks, take care of yourself. Have a wonderful day. I am in a new studio that is just starting to grow. Again, those lights were meant to be purple. They are clearly not, but I was too tired at 1 a.m. to restring after being disappointed. So it is what it is. Thanks, take care, have a wonderful day. Like, subscribe, comment, and don't forget the new channel. We are trying to get up to 4,000 watch hours. We still got a long way to go, but we will eventually get there. Bye.